Hey artists, today we're going to make these awesome collages that are Bauhaus inspired. Follow along with me and let's create your own. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is choose 4 colors, including your background. So if you get a background color, you need one of your 4 squares to also be matching your background color. You might choose monochromatic, you might choose cool colors, warm colors, you might have a lot of contrasting colors. It's totally your choice. Today, I decided that these would be my colors. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to try to lay out, before gluing, we just kind of want to see here what having all 16 squares is going to look like. Mix it up however you like. It doesn't matter. It is your art and your choice. I'm like, okay, I got to get some things going here. Obviously, I'm not going to use this color because it's the same. I will use these when I'm adding design. So let's see. Let's put this here, here, there. Okay. Now that I have them laid out, I'm going to try to scoot them a little together. We kind of want our design to remain in the center, and then we have basically a frame around the edge with that outside color we chose. So trying to kind of lay them where I want them, so then when I glue, I'm getting mostly in the middle here. Perfect. All right, the other thing you could do if you wanted is you could grab your handy dandy ruler. You're gonna go about 1 inch off the edge. And that could help you with lining up where you want those. I'm totally fine just eyeballing it, but if you would rather use a ruler to help guide you, you can. You just want to make sure that you draw crazy light so this line is not in your way. So the next thing we're going to do is grab a glue stick and glue these down. So I'm going to take this. Again, if you want to make sure you're getting that inch, just kind of make my little mark here. So that's where my corner piece would go. You don't need 1,000 pounds of glue. You just kind of go around the edge here, and we're going to set that right there. So we can go down here, and we're going to just line these up down our line. Kind of looks like a little checkerboard. Perfect. We got the first row glued on. Now I actually, you can see this bottom area is a little bigger. I'm not worried about it, but if you want to be really precise, you can. I'm going to just go ahead and keep going, getting my squares down. So I'm just putting the next row right next to the first row. Nope. I kind of want to do a different, so they're not the same color right next to each other. That's just my preference. If you have the same color next door, it'll be fine. All right, I'm gonna keep going, getting this 3rd row and then my 4th row glued down. All right, I glued the pieces down, those straight lines and zigzags, and I just love the designing on that square. So we're gonna keep doing that. We're gonna keep making different designs. It might be a diamond shape. Well, this actually looks more like a kite shape, kind of. So I'm just going to start cutting out some different lines and shapes. I might have another straight line. I might cut out a curvy line. It's going to be up to you, and it's really just using your scissors to create different shapes and then deciding how you want to lay them across each square to decorate each square. All right, I've got a variety cut out here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and get that where I want it for the design of that square. All right, that square looks pretty cool too. I've got some different designs glued down. I'm gonna keep adding different line designs, different shapes all over, staying with our 4 colors. All right, we just keep adding to the squares and they are starting to get some really cool stuff. One thing I wanted to point out is that when you cut out some shapes, like let's say on this one, I fold it and maybe I'll do a triangle shape. And we could do kind of a teardrop shape. So these shapes that you cut out will be great to put onto some of your squares. But the other thing is using this negative space here. So these are the positive images. Here's the negative images that are left over. You could also apply that to your square, and that looks super cool too. So don't throw any of the pieces away as scrap, because that's the really cool thing about this project is we're just adding all these cool different line designs, and we can use all of them to just keep adding dimension and balance. So like I could put that there. Let's see, just kind of making up some shapes here. I could put this here or whatever we're thinking. And then that negative space left over, I could end up putting that over, and how cool does that look? The other thing I was going to say is we have some different hole punches. As we're going along, you might add, these are the little heart-shaped ones. Okay. Now this would be kind of a final detail after I've got a lot of stuff, but how cool do those look? We could do some heart shapes. We could have some heart little star shapes. So this is something else we could incorporate to our design. And the other thing is, again, you could use that negative space. So perhaps I'm putting some circle hole punches here, and I'm going to use these on my thing, but I could also cut this. And how cool of a piece is that to also add to one of our squares? So we're just going to keep going until every square has lots of different colors of our 4-color scheme, and it's just really filled with different geometric shapes, and we feel good about the balance. And now we have a totally finished Bauhaus collage with paper. These turned out great. I can't wait to see the ones that you created.